Howdy, Possum Patty, and the mayor of Soggy Bottom here, Miss Stinky Winky Woos herself. I am trying to balance a very fat calico cat, pour myself a cup of creativity. Creativity. Today I am having red rose caramel apple pie. And my mug does say creativity. So my creativity is helping me write a book. Yes. Possum Patty has made the decision that she's going to write a book. And she's going to vlog about it. Yes, I am. I'm going to vlog my process of writing the book. I have never written a book before. No. I don't claim to know how to write a book. No. But I'm going to learn. It's going to be a process. Yes, a process of learning and writing and creativity. Oh, some technical things too. I've got my computer open to a few websites here. All kinds of technical things like what software to use to upload your book to Kindle and all that. Yes. Right now I have my computer open to .gov. Yes, copyright.gov. There's going to be some technical things. There's going to be some pretty bland, uninteresting legalese here. And then there's going to be some exciting, I'm going to tell you the story, yes, and let you have some input and describe my process and how I started and why I started and where I'm going and maybe share some outlines and actions and the setting, all that with the Possum Peeps. Yes, I'm going to do all that. I think it's going to help me. Yes, I think it's going to help me because it's been a very long time since I taught literature. Yes, the plot. What are the parts of the plot? And what are the elements of a story? Yes, the rising action, the falling action, the resolution, all that. Yes, all that. It was really easy to start because I have a setting and I have some characters. Yes, my setting is Soggy Bottom and my characters are the Rose Fairies there. But what got me started on this book writing journey? Yes, what got me started on this book writing journey? Well, it started in May of 2024, the Magic and Fairy Festival in Putnam, Connecticut. Yes. And oh, it poured down rain that day. I felt so sorry for the performing artists and the visual artists who were trying to paint chalk pictures on a road in the pouring rain. And they were erecting tents over them. And yes, brave souls under umbrellas and tents stayed for a while anyway. There are a few authors there. And whenever I can meet an author, I always go up and talk to them. I guess the I should write a book bug has been with me for a very long time. Yes. So one author I went up to talk to, his name was Curtis K. Corey, and he had these two books, The Fae of Woodstock Valley by Curtis K. Corey. And each book has 4 chapters, okay? So there's 8 chapters. I love the way that he published this. Yes, the bright, colorful covers. They're not very long. And I just thought, well, this is a great way to make a little series of books. And then I came home and I put the books on the shelf and promptly forgot about them. Did I read them? No, I didn't. Until May of 2025. Again, I'm on my computer searching for when the Fairy and Magic Festival in Putnam's going to be. No Fairy and Magic Festival in Putnam. No, I couldn't find it anywhere. They're going to have an arts festival. Maybe some of these folks will be at the arts festival. I don't know. But the books came into my mind. Yes, the books came into my mind. So I got them off the shelf. So I got the books off the shelf and I read them. Quick read, very quick read, yes. And while I was reading it, my mind kept, the teacher mind in me, yes, kept saying how I would have written that, how I would have made that character, how I would have ended the story, how I would have illustrated the story, what I would have done. And then I started thinking, ooh, Curtis lives nearby. Maybe I should, contact him and get together and say, let's do a rewrite or a new story, and or maybe a different, level, like a children's level. Take one of the stories he wrote and rewrite it in a different reading level, maybe younger kids, and illustrate it. And then I was like, duh. Why don't I just write my own story? Yes, I can contact him to find out how he published it, and things like that. Maybe I can use him as a little bit of a mentor, or maybe you would like to help me. Maybe you could be a mentor too. Yes. I had a very easy start in writing the story because, like I said, I have a setting for a story. It's this magical place, Soggy Bottom. It is as damp as it is delightful. I have a cast of main characters sitting back here: Angela Rose, Ruthie Rose, Maggie Rose, and Little Pixie. Yes, all I needed was some adventures. All I needed was some adventures. So I think the first thing I did was write a description for each of the main characters. And I'm going to read those to you. And I'm not worried about copyright, no, because I have copyright.gov up here on my computer. And it says copyright is a type of intellectual property that protects original works of authorship as soon as an author fixes the work in a tangible form of expression. In copyright law, there are lots of different types of works, including painting, photographs, illustrations, musical compositions, sound recordings, computer programs, books, poems, blog posts, movies, architectural works, plays, and so much more. So, it is interesting to know that with today's copyright laws, as soon as you write something down on paper, it is copyrighted. It is your work. Yeah. So I can type everything out on a piece of paper and read it to you here on the internet, and it is already copyrighted. Yes. You can't steal it. It's mine. So you have to write it down or record it. And then is what's called a work is fixed. It's been captured. It's been captured in some sort of media, right? Okay. There is a process for registering your copyright, which I'm looking into. I think it costs $45 to register it. And this helps if there's any litigation that you have to go into if somebody steals your work. Okay, so I might do that after I publish the book. But right now, the draft of my story is copyrighted because I've written it down. It's mine. We'll talk some more about this later. Yes, you cannot copyright ideas. You cannot copyright the idea for writing a story about fairies in the area where you live. So Curtis wrote a story about the fairies who live in the area where he lives, which is not too far away. The book is copyrighted. The names of the fairies are copyrighted. The places in the book, this is all copyrighted. But the idea of writing a book about fairies in the area where you live can't be copyrighted, no. So I'm stealing that idea. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. So I wrote a description of the fairies, and then I started researching the elements of a story and the plot and the setting and making an outline and jotting down a few events that might happen during the story and all kinds of things like that. Yes. And when that was finished, I started writing the story. Yes. And I found that having the character description written out paragraph form made writing the story much, much easier. Yes, because all I had to do was glance at the paragraphs, the color of hair, the color of the wings, what their favorite hobbies were, just everything about them. You can refer back to your little bit of a description. And then, yeah, it really helps you as you're moving along in the story to have that permanently set down certain characteristics about each of your main characters. So if somebody needed to build something, I knew it was going to be Ruthie Rose, right? Because in her character description, she's very creative. She loves to build things. She loves to paint, all that. If there was going to be some food, I knew that was going to be Maggie Rose because in her description, she loves to cook. And if somebody needed taken care of, I knew it was going to be Angela Rose because she had a big heart and cared for everyone. Very easy to write about Soggy Bottom because obviously that's where I live. It's quite the magical place, right? I'm not going to make these videos too long, hopefully, unless I have a lot to yak about, right? So I told you what my inspiration was, and I'm talking a little bit about how I'm going about it. And every video, there will not be one every day. No, there won't be one every day, but in every video, I'm going to try to give you a little bit of my process, a little bit of what I've learned, and a little bit of the story. A little bit of the story, just to keep you coming back. Just to keep you coming back. So, let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to say? I haven't written down, like what I was going to say when I got on here to do my author vlog. I'm going to call this the author vlog. Yes, my author's vlog. Oh, she loves to move around a bit. Yes. So I said that I would read to you the descriptions of my main characters, and we're going to stick with the 4 that are right here for right now. I don't have a title. I don't have a title for the book, but I know I want to do 4 smaller books, novellas, right? 4 or short novels. How long is a long novella? How short is a short novel? These are all questions that must get answered, right? Spring, summer, fall, and winter, because, I love my nature and I always go by the seasons. So I'm working on book 1, spring, of course. I don't really have a title for that either. I just know it's going to be Soggy Bottom, something, something, something for the series. And book 1 is going to be something, something about spring. Put your ideas in the comment below. Yes. Oh, I have an idea. I have an idea. When this book gets published, I will pick from the folks who have helped me along in the comments below. Yes, in the comments below. And pick a few names and send them autographed copies of the book when it gets published. Yes. As a thank you. Yes, as a thank you. So that'll be a giveaway when the book is published. And to be submitted into the giveaway, you have to put some constructive criticism in the comments below. Yes. Constructive criticism doesn't mean, oh, that was really good. No, that's not constructive criticism. Constructive criticism means, I thought the part about the fairy cooking lunch in the kitchen was described very well because you explained how she mixed the ingredients or something. That's constructive. Or I thought the part about who? Ruthie Rose working in the garden, I don't know, like it left out some details. It like jumped from one thing to another. And I'm not really sure what happened in between there. Okay, maybe you need to put in a little hint about the action that was happening between those 2 scenes. Something like that. You understand what I mean, right? Something like that. Okay. Constructive criticism. Okay. Without further ado, I am going to read the description of the 4 main characters sitting right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe Mayor Stinky Winky Woo will show up in the story at some point. Yes, at some point in time, she may show up in the story. Angela Rose was short and pleasantly plump. Now, she's, oh, okay. All right, I had to put my Stinky Winky Woos down for a moment. But even though this characters are based on these lovely ladies over here, it's just based on them, right? So their physical description and their attributes might be a little different from the real world, okay? So we start with Angela Rose. Angela Rose was short and pleasantly plump. Her ebony hair fell in luscious waves across her shoulders and around her sparkling multicolored wings. Her poppy red lips were permanently parted into a gentle smile, for her heart held unlimited kindness even for the lowliest and poorest of creatures. Angela enjoyed gatherings and parties and parades, essentially any event at which there was music, for she was born to dance. Maggie Rose, Miss Maggie Rose over here, was elegantly slender, with pale blue glowing wings that reminded one of will-o'-wisps. The color of her unruly hair was a delicate blushing pink, as if a camellia blossom had been blown from a tree, tossed about, and landed with a plop atop her head. Her voice was silvery, like the ringing of crystal bells. On most days, Maggie's singing came from the direction of the kitchen. She was quite the culinary enthusiast, and her skills ensured that all empty stomachs were filled with tasty delights. Miss Ruthie Rose, back here, was the stout and sturdy fairy sister. Her hair, as gray as smoky quartz, was bound up in a top knot high over her dusky rose wings. Her creativity not only beautified the world around her, it helped her solve many a problem for the folk of Soggy Bottom. Her simple daily dress was covered with an amazing apron of innumerable pockets of varying sizes. Each pocket held some useful tool, such as a sewing needle made from the thorns of a honey locust tree, or paint brushes and small rounded pots of natural pigment, including elderberry ink and yellow ochre. Little Pixie, Miss Little Pixie back here, we're all quite familiar with her. Excuse me, Angela. Little Pixie was a mischievous orphan of uncertain origin. None of the Soggy Bottom folk could remember how she became orphaned or what her true name was. Everyone had always just called her Little. Her wild hair, as white and fluffy as thistle down, mysteriously seemed to be in motion, as if an everlasting gentle breeze continuously lifts each strand. Her dress was a patchwork of tiny tattered bits of cloth and natural fibers. So there's the description of the characters in the story. Not really of them, understand, right? But the characters are based on them, but, changes have been made to protect the innocent, all that, right? Book one is Spring. To get you interested in what I'm doing, should I read the first page of the story? What do you think, ladies? Let me have a sip of my creativity and think about it. I don't want to make these videos too long. And I do want to yak about what I'm doing because that helps gel it in my mind, right? So I'm here talking to y'all. Oh, I've already changed this page. This is the draft that I printed out earlier. And I think after I printed it out, I already made some changes. Yes, I already made some changes. So that's okay. This is a draft, copyrighted draft by Possum Patty. Yes. In the series about Soggy Bottom, a place as damp as it is delightful.
Okay, I found this on the web for a series about soggy bottom, a place as damp as it is delightful. Check it out.
What is this? Okay. Siri, for some reason, picked up my voice. That was interesting. Also, my computer's talking to me. It's strange. They're always listening. Be careful with what you say. The wind lashed wildly through the woods, driving sheets of rain hard against the leafless trees. The storm had raged on for days. Because it was too early in the year for the trees and plants to drink up the falling water, the mossy ground was as squishy as a sponge. Soggy Bottom was certainly living up to its name. The sound of raindrops on the roof of their little cottage was comforting for the three fairy sisters. Angela Rose sat in the warm glow of the stove with a tiny ladybird beetle cuddled in her lap. Bybie had been rescued from an overturned plastic cup that had been tossed away by a careless human. In her struggle to escape the unfortunate prison, the young two-spotted red bug had badly injured her right wing. A voice as silvery as a crystal bell filled the room with a lilting tune about the coming of spring. Maggie Rose was singing while mixing up a batch of muffins using the last of the dried blueberries from the previous summer's harvest. The rhythmic ringing of Ruthie Rose's hammer supplied an underlying beat to Maggie Rose's song. She was building a small wooden bed, just the perfect size for Bybie. A cushion sewn from scraps of fabric lay on the floor nearby. So absorbed in her work was she, the locks of gray hair falling from the bun high on her head and into her eyes went unnoticed. Golden yellow candlelight streamed out through the clear mica stone kitchen window and into the wet evening. As it struck a puddle in the garden, the silhouette of a figure was revealed. It emitted a very soft sigh and a sad sob and a hiccup. In the chill of a night as black as obsidian, the sobs turned to gasps and gulps. Wah! A final desperate wail carried over the howling wind as the mysterious shadow of a creature collapsed. Page 1. Okay, be kind. Be kind, be kind. Yeah, that's page 1. Draft. Today's draft of page 1. No title yet. Probably about something mysterious in a storm. I'm sure it's going to be. And yes, I have a little bit more written, but I'm going to spread it out. Yes, because I always go back and do some more editing and proofreading and updating with different things as the story carries on. So in the comments below, and it is already the black-capped chickadee after the morning dove o'clock. Another late night as usual. Yes, so in the comments below, yeah, constructive criticism is welcome. Constructive criticism is welcome. But also comments about, yes, are you writing a story? Would you like to write a story? Have you always wanted to write a story? What would it take to get you to start writing that story that you've always wanted to write? Do you have any ideas? Maybe you have ideas. Maybe you've already published a book and would like to help out. Thank you. So I'm just going to go along and keep writing and writing and writing until I have my first little book written about spring. I don't know how long it's going to be. This book is, like only 50 pages long. And it's broken up into 4 chapters. I know where the spring story is going. Kind of sure what's going to be happening at the end. And a lot of ideas for the middle. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. But we will find out. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for listening. letting me bounce some ideas off of you. Do you think that's a good beginning? It describes the setting. You don't have to describe everything at the beginning, but you have to sort of orient the reader as to where the story is taking place and what's going on, and something about the main characters, and throw in something that'll hook them. Throw in something that'll hook them. So I think that last part was the hook. Yes. Are you hooked? Did that hook you? Do you want to know what's going to happen next? Yes, I know I've been rambling, but this is how these videos are going to go. Yes, they're going to ramble on about story construction, technical things like what is a copyright and how do you upload a book to Amazon. Uh, Probably going to involve a cup of tea, several fairies, and a reading. Yes, and a reading. Yes, okay. So that's it. I just want to say thanks for coming along today and allowing me to share this with you. And happy writing. Bye bye.